Oh, Leicester City, ladies and gentlemen, making the impossible possible. Um, just gonna talk about that before I start talking about the game because it really is incredible to think about 5,000 to 1 odds and manage to do it, manage to go and win the league. Now, a lot of people can point out the fact that the teams that should have been top didn't do as well as they should have. Agreed. But the fact that they still managed to do as well as they did, they managed to pick up wins where they probably shouldn't have, pick up wins away against other teams that are mid-table sides, pick up a win against Liverpool at Anfield, pick up a win. Didn't they beat Man City at Etihad? I think. Just some of the wins that they completed are going to be known, are going to be looked back as some of the key wins in their season, and they fully deserve it. They were the only team that really stayed consistent throughout the entire season. You look at, Tottenham started off a bit slow and started picking it up near the end. Now they're in second. Man City and Arsenal both started off very well and then just sort of dropped off somewhere in the wintertime. Man U's just been consistently eking out results or not getting results. And then you got West Ham, Liverpool, Southampton below them, and those are teams that just they'll win the lower games, but then they have difficulty when it comes to beating teams around the top. So, of all the teams up there, Leicester's the only one that has really stayed consistent. They haven't lost any games that they probably should have won. There were a couple of ties that shocked me. But overall, they really did the job the entire season. And everybody kept saying they're going to drop off eventually. They're going to drop off. No, they never did. They managed to do it. They managed to keep going despite everybody saying, oh, the odds are against them. They managed to do it. They managed to believe and push through it. And I applaud them for it because, it's incredible. It really is an incredible story to watch and to look back and think, Leicester City, near relegation, next season, champions. It gives me hope for us next season. Mid-table obscurity, come back next season, champions. Hopefully. Anyway, so on to the game itself. There was a lot riding on this game, especially, there were many reasons why I wanted us to be the ones to help Leicester win it tonight. One, because Leicester's my second favorite team. It goes Chelsea, Leicester, and then Everton. And they've kind of dropped, they were my second favorite team back in 2010. And they were okay. I really like David Moyes as a manager, that's why. And recently with Roberto Martinez and then Lukaku sort of not doing what he used to do, and I did like Lukaku, they just sort of dropped off, and I wouldn't even call them one of my favorite teams anymore. They're just there, But Leicester became my second favorite team 4 years ago when I was playing FIFA with them, and I'm just like, I like this team. I'm going to follow them a bit more. And then found out they're coming to the Premier League. I'm like, yes. And then on top of that, they've got Claudio Ranieri this year, former Chelsea manager. So also Robert Huth, former Chelsea player. So, a few good reasons to have Leicester as my second favorite team. So that was the first reason why I wanted them to win the league tonight. Second, because I just wanted us to not lose to Tottenham. I wanted us really to beat Tottenham. But losing to Tottenham at home for the first time in, 16 years, that would have been really, really awful. Third, I wanted them to win because it's an incredible story. Even if they were not my second favorite team, pretty much everybody except for Tottenham fans wanted them to win the league because it is a great story to tell. And it's something that will be told. It's a story that will be told for several years to come. And then finally, probably the most important reason, I don't want Tottenham to win the league. Come on. It's Tottenham. You don't want them to win the league, ever. So many reasons riding on this game of why we can't lose this, and hitting nearly screwed the crap out of us. My God. This starting lineup, stupid. Not only does he have Mikel starting, not only does he have Fabregas playing out of position again, he doesn't even start Hazard. Why? What's the thinking there? He was dominant against Bournemouth last week. He was back in form. He was at the form that I'm just like, that looked more like Hazard from last season. I wanted to see more of that, and you don't even start him? That was the dumbest decision out of all of the decisions that he made. But the other two dumb decisions are pretty stupid as well. And I've talked about this before. I can't remember what game it was, but he did this lineup, Mikel, Matic, Fabregas. Having Mikel and Matic in midfield doesn't work. Because Matic on his own can do some good stuff, but if Mikel is there, Matic is expecting him to do his work, and he does not. So Matic is covering his side, it gets crossed over to Mikel's side, Mikel runs out, gets beat, and Fabregas, he's not a center attactive mid. He is not. He's not quick enough to play there. He's not clever enough to play there. He is the best when it comes to finding the long ball. That's why he always drops so deep. Picks up the ball, picks up his eyes, and ball in behind. And it's always a great ball. So technically, whenever Fabregas plays that position, we really have three center defensive mids and nobody in that space. There's a big hole in between our midfield and our striker. And that's not good. We need somebody in there. So it was a dumb lineup. The first two goals were gifts. The first one, I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was, yes. The first one was straight up just the symptom of having Mikel in your midfield is it's very easy to play. You can just pass. That's all you need to do whenever Mikel's in, because he just run, jog when he gets behind him. And that's pretty much what he did. The ball came across, it went behind him, and now he's turned and he's jogging. It's so easy to play around him. I don't know why he's still playing. I don't know why Hiddink keeps using him, but for some reason, he sees something in his horrible play that convinces him to keep putting him out there. And the first goal was just a symptom of Mikel being in there. You got pass, and then it balling behind, and he's through on goal. So, horrible start. Letting them have the first goal is just a horrible way to start the game. And then near the end of it, not even 10 minutes later, I don't think, you've got Ivanovic, stupid pass, Mikel sticks out a leg instead of going in and winning the ball, and then breakaway, boom, 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 goal. So you got the problem right there. It's Mikel. He's too slow for the first goal. He's just jogging around. He's not really picking up anybody. He's just a cone being passed around in the midfield. And the second goal, yeah, it's a bad ball from Ivanovic, but if it's to Matic, he makes it work. He sticks a foot out. He brings them down. He does something. He doesn't let them have the ball and just start a breakaway. But because it's Mikel, he either slides in and gets beat, or he sticks a foot out, gets beat, and then starts jogging back. He's hashtag John Sloby Mikel. That's becoming a thing. I'm going to start this now. It's a little late in the season to start it, but I'm going to start it now. He's just a horrible player to have in there. And honestly, a lot of the times whenever Tottenham had their attacking intent in the first half, he's jogging back. There was one where the ball went to the top of the box. The entire defense has dropped in, and ball goes to the top of the box, and I think it was Lamela has a shot. And you see Mikel jogging. Oh, I could have gotten there. Oh, he already had the shot. Why aren't you there already? Why are you jogging back when you should be sprinting your ass off to get back in the box? So, a lot of problems there. Getting to the second half, takes off Pedro, brings on Hazard. I'm thinking, well, we still have Fabregas and Mikel playing. Fabregas out of position, Mikel playing. But, it's a good change. It's good to see Hazard in. And what a change it was. I mean, it completely changed the game. Just took it to him. It was ridiculous how much more of the attack we had in the second half because Hazard was in. Nothing against Pedro. He played fairly well the first half. He got Walker a yellow card. But, I mean, there's so much difference between Hazard and Pedro. There's so much more quality that Hazard has. And he's playing well right now. If he does not start next game, I'm probably going to have to kill Hiddink. But, I mean, the second half just shows you need Hazard in there. He's the one that's going to bring this quality It's brilliant. It was brilliant to watch. He really brought something that just it intimidated the Tottenham back line. They had to sit back a lot more, which gave Chelsea time to play. It was wonderful. But after the goal, then he decides to bring in Oscar and took off Matic. That is when my migraine started. Because how can you think that is even remotely a good idea? And it's not even that Mikel is playing horrible today. He had another average Mikel game, which is bad compared to most players, but he didn't do anything completely stupid. He was the reason for the first two goals, but that's just because it's who he is. That's the type of player he is. He's slow. He doesn't track well. He doesn't really do well as far as marking people in the middle. He just gets passed around, and he jogs back. That's the player he is. That's what I've come to expect out of him. Matic is the only reason why it was only 2-0. Okay, not the only reason. The defense, having Terry back there, extremely, extremely good. I mean, he just has so much sense. I don't know why we haven't signed him to another deal yet. But Matic was the one really eating it up in the midfield. I mean, Tottenham was not... Whenever they went to Matic's side, it was like Matic was on the left, Mikel was on the right. Whenever they went over to the left side, they had no time to play. Matic was right there. They can hardly get around him because he just sticks a leg out and wraps it, grabs the ball. Because he has those long legs. He loves to do that, and he does it so well. And there are a lot of times where the breakaway is happening, and then there's Matic taking the ball away. Passing-wise, he was looking better tonight. Passing is not his greatest part of the game. And this season he's actually been pretty poor with passing, but tonight he's moving the ball well. I don't understand why you would take him off. Like, he's having a good game, and you're going to take him off? How? How does that make any sense? It's just like 2 weeks ago when we played Swansea, and Willian and Pedro were the only people doing anything. They were the only people creating anything. And he took them off in the second half. I thought to myself, how does that make sense to you? How in your right mind can you look out there and say, everybody's playing poor? Well, except for Willian and Pedro, they're playing okay. Go get them a sub. How does that make any sense? And this, you're taking off your better of your defensive mids. He's done this before, too. He has done this before, and that's what pisses me off more than anything, is that for some reason, you've got Mikel, Matic, Fabregas. You're going to put Oscar on? Let's take off Matic. The best player of those three, let's take him off. Because that's so stupid. We might as well do it, right? I don't understand. Like, please, somebody call Hitting and ask him what the thinking is there. Because there's no way that if you were smart enough and you watched the video, there's no way you can watch this and say, yes, Matic was the one that needed to come off. There's no way. There's no logical sense in that. And we got very, very lucky that Tottenham got frustrated after we scored the second goal and just started fouling. Because if they had kept their cool, if they had kept their nerve, it would have been 4-2. They would have put 2 more past us because Matic was gone. And like I said, the only reason they didn't is because they lost their cool. They let the emotion get to them and started, whacking the crap out of it. I real quick about that, because I do want to touch on that just a little bit. How are there not any red cards? I mean, you've got Dyer. Hazard passes the ball as Dyer comes flying in. His knee is high, his foot is raised. It's a late challenge. Oh, that's yellow. I mean, he wasn't even going for the ball. He went straight for Hazard. I mean, it wasn't even his trailing foot that clocked. It was his leading foot. He went straight into him. And it's just a yellow. And then, not that I really care about Mikel, but then he gives Mikel a yellow because he's protesting it. I'm like, really? You're just stupid, aren't you? And then, of course, you've got the Kane challenge on Willian, followed by Dembele kicking the ball into his face. And there were so many challenges. Dyer actually had a second one on Fabregas late on. I'm just like, that's got to be a second yellow. He's going to come back and didn't card him. I'm like, okay, what is going on? You're giving yellows to everybody, and then whenever it's somebody that's already on a yellow, you're like, nah, it's the same challenge. Give him a second yellow. It was just, he was letting it get out of control. He was letting it get way too reckless. Somebody should have been sent off. And that's where, as referees, It's one thing to give a red card to change the game. It's another thing when the game is getting out of hand, tackles are flying in like that, and all you're doing is just, okay, here's a yellow. Oh, you're already on a yellow? Not for you. No, you're not? Here's a yellow. That's stupid. You have to eventually get somebody off the field. You have to eventually say, okay, those challenges, those are wrong. They don't deserve to be here. Second yellow, you're gone. You have to stand up and grow a pair and do something about it, or else people are going to get injured. And glad nobody did, because some of the challenges that flew in looked like they could have been injury-inflicting fouls. But I don't know. It's just maybe the FA will go back and look, and they'll probably fine both teams for not keeping control of their players, even though how are you going to do that? But hopefully they look back at some of the stuff that either the refs didn't see or some of the stuff that the refs just completely got wrong and say, okay, yeah, that's not a yellow, that's a straight red. You're getting banned for the next game. They likely will go back and ban somebody, but I feel like at the end of all this, Costa's going to get banned for 3 games, and that's it. Like just the way the FA works, that's probably what's going to happen. It's going to be, oh, Costa gets a three game ban for something he did over there. He got in that guy's face, so we're going to ban him for 3 games. But everybody else is good. You're good to go. I'm waiting to see what the verdict is, because I'm sure something like that's going to happen, and it's going to piss me off so much. But anyway, just want to talk about the refs really fast. But going back to the second half, it was a lot better. Even though Hiddink did make a stupid sub as far as Oscar on for Matic, it looked a lot better because Hazard is back in his form. And I think that's the important part to draw from all of this. Because that really is what changed the game. You look at the difference in the first half. It was because we didn't have anything going forward in the first half. We just kind of booted it forward. Costa maybe tried to hold it up for a second and then lost it, or Pedro managed to do one thing with it and then kicked it to the keeper. He doesn't have the quality that Hazard does, so it was constantly coming back at us. We're constantly defending. Second half, we're mainly on the attack because Hazard is out there just tearing them up. And that's the important part here. And that's where, even though that is an extremely, extremely stupid substitution of taking off Matic instead of Mikel, the fact that Hazard is on, and on his game too, shows just how valuable he is to our team, because without him, it would have been so much worse. We stood no chance if he wasn't out there. And that's what I really, really, really want to focus on at the end of this video, is that we need him. We need to have Hazard back. And as much as people are like, oh, he's had an awful year, get rid of him, this clearly shows no. We cannot get rid of him. How old is he? 24? Maybe close to 25? We can't get rid of him. He changed the game for us tonight. He was dominant last week. That shows he still has the quality. It's just been a bad year for him. And all of the Chelsea fans out there that are saying, oh, we need to get rid of him, probably the same ones saying that Mikel is great. But anyway, they need to wake up and see we can't get rid of Hazard. We cannot get rid of Hazard. We don't have anybody with the quality that Hazard has. Now, the fact that we're not in Europe next year, yeah, that kind of hurts our chances of holding on to him, because he'll likely want to go there. But if all these fans just keep booing him and keep, saying, oh, we need to get rid of him, hell yeah, he's going to leave. It doesn't matter about Europe. It doesn't matter how he feels about the club. He's just going to, these fans hate me. I don't want to be here if these fans hate me. So this is, me personally, to Hazard, please stay. I know I can't be alone in this, especially after tonight, watching him just dominate everything. We need him. So all you fans who keep booing him, shut your damn mouths and get behind him, because if we don't keep on to him, or if we don't hold on to him, we're not going to be able to do anything next year. We're not going to be able to get into Europe. We're not going to be able to get close to winning the league again. We're not going to get a player like him in a very, very long time. We have other good players, but he is something spectacular. And tonight, last week, really shows it. The fact that he didn't start the game tonight really shocks me, but I think after his second half performance, he's going to start next week. He should start next week. So anyway, overall, still a bit disappointed we didn't win just because of how poor the first half was. But I'm glad we managed to find the fight to get back. Hazard managed to find that fight and desire to get back to his old ways. Tearing apart defenses. It's wonderful to watch. And you think about some of the other talent we have. You get these young talent in with Hazard. Working with them. I think about Kennedy and Hazard on the wings. That would be an incredible combination with Willian in the middle. That's where it needs to be. Or even Hazard in the middle. He does well there too. So, but going forward, that this was probably the most important game we have. I think the tie though completely puts us out of Europa altogether. I know it's weird. We still had a shot at Europa, kind of. Come on. Give me 1 second, please. Alright, so we're ninth with 48. We have 3 games left, one of them against Liverpool. So 9 points. Get up to... Yeah, that... The thing is, if we had won tonight, we would be at 50, which is 7 points behind Southampton, who's in 7th. If... I think it's... Yeah, if Man U beat Crystal Palace in the FA Cup, the 7th place is now open. So if Southampton, lost or tied some of their last games, and then we win our last 3 against Liverpool, Leicester, and somebody else. Now we're in Europe. Now we're in Europe at least. It's not exactly the best thing ever, but at least we're in Europe. But honestly, I look back at hitting games in charge, and there have been a lot of them that we tied we should have won. The game against Swansea where we lost, which is awful. So yeah, our Europa challenge could have been there if we had found the desire we found tonight in the second half earlier. So, last 3 games, hopefully they just finish fighting hard. If we can finish the season with our heads held high instead of like, oh God, maybe finish an 8th above Liverpool. We can beat them. We can beat the other 2 teams. Maybe Liverpool will drop some more points. We can be an 8th instead of 9th. So, overall, not extremely happy, but I'm glad. For Leicester, for the fact that we didn't lose, I am glad for all of that. So, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you want to tell me I'm wrong about Mikel, then you just need to go ahead and go somewhere else because you're stupid. You're not stupid, but you don't get stuff. So, anyway. Leave a like and subscribe for more Chelsea reviews, and I'll see you at the next game. Peace out.